start slipping through.
That's fine. I think teams have kind of figured out the Magnus a little bit better. We saw IGV like expertly maneuver around an early Magnus pick.
Yeah. They almost, that played perfectly into what they were doing. Like
yeah, from
Magnus,
LFY.
they banned out all the Magnus partners as well, so.
Yeah.
First pick silencer.
I was not expecting this when I got to the tournament.
Flavor hero.
That's a Chinese meta pick. They just they like their silencers.
It's it brings a lot of team fight for, just a 5-position hero.
Even his laning stage is pretty good too.
Yeah, he's not bad in lane. He's actually pretty strong in lane. He really lacks catch, and he doesn't offer like any tower push or like objective taking. But as long as you kind of fill those roles with other heroes on your team, he can be really effective.
It's in a huge amount of jug actually. In fact, I know it was a pick yesterday. There was a few bans.
This team right here played. IGV played it yesterday, so that's their hero. They love it. They both Cicada and Paparazzi played, so it's kind of flexible. They can play it mid, play it carry, but
he works really well against Silencer. He's a really high-tempo hero who likes to fight often.
And you're always going to buy Manta, so you don't even have to worry too much about the silence.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see how many kind of like anti-global silence heroes they pick.
Yeah.
And this is heroes that like naturally build Yules or Lotus Orb or Mantas or have some sort of ability to kind of like disengage from fights.
Maybe they'll just do something really safe, like typical Rubik-ish pick. Slaughter. I like that. It allows them to start the fight instead of react to the global silence.
And that Earth Spirit Monkey already banned out, so 4-position pull already getting a bit more limited.
Yeah, makes sense to slot in that Slardar. He's kind of probably like number 3 on that list. If you had to put someone there.
So a nice Wyvern yesterday from Dogfights, but
that's true.
That's like the more like obscure niche picks that you need to fit the right.
That hero's kind of like anti-Vengeful Spirit. We saw that he made Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit that kind of boosts up the physical damage of all your teammates. So if you end up landing a Wyvern ult on anyone, all the right clicks coming into that hero are super strong.
So with the Centaur pick gives VTJ pretty good lane setups, relatively. It's not amazing versus Jug, but it can work okay.
Just a solid hero. Didn't go for the Magnus.
Really
Might look to ban it out.
I also like how Centaur is going to really allow them to punish during global silence. Like a lot of times when you're playing against a silencer, as soon as he pops it, everyone just runs away. But if you have Stampede and global silence, you can certainly engage.
Yeah, there's nothing scarier than a Centaur Stampede running at you, and you can't do anything about it. Just turning around and force staffing or just walking away as fast as you can.
You're wondering what the cheers are at home. It's basically whenever they put ROTK on the screen today. It was burning yesterday. It's ROTK today.
It'll be burning tomorrow.
Yes.
That's why there's actually nobody here, because they know Burning doesn't play today.
Yeah, burning is an off day. The stadium is pretty empty.
It was quite low yesterday morning as well. I think the Chinese seem to prefer coming in a little bit later. So
it's a Sunday.
Certainly filled up yesterday.
You don't want to wake up at 9 in the morning on a Sunday.
Well, it's even earlier than that to get here, isn't it? You have to be here at the gate for 9. So yeah, super early on a Sunday, of course. Very unusual tournament that goes on to Tuesday. I don't think I've ever done a tournament which finished on a Tuesday and started on a Saturday.
Didn't we have one TI the finals was on a Monday?
Yes.
I think that happened. That was weird.
Yes. I've done a few like that, though, over bank holidays in the UK where they actually plan them to finish on Mondays, but never Tuesdays. Very unusual. Anyway, back to draft.
Carry pool getting banned out by IGV, limiting what aggressive can play. But I mean, we've seen it mostly on lifesteal. Like most carries this tournament, I guess, have always been mostly on lifesteal. That hero's very strong right now.
Left the Magnus.
Yeah. Neither team particularly favouring that.
Could work well with Juggernaut.
I see it now.
I guess they're feeling the silencer is a good enough solution to it, but
yeah, that's the thing is like Magnus kind of just starts the fight, or he can just start the fight.
And eventually you get a BKB too. So
the Rubik kind of delaying the Magnus pick, perhaps. Didn't want to give up the Rubik into the Magnus, so they picked the Rubik first, and then like a 4th pick the Magnus. I'm selling Magnus pretty hard right now, but
I mean, VTJ can't pick it really, right?
Exactly.
Because they've got Centaur, so
yeah.
If anything, it just delays the
But they could
knowledge.
have picked Rubik,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. VTJ could grab Rubik. Yeah.
which is an FY special.
Indeed. Legendary.
Yeah, I wonder what FY will play. I miss the FY Bounty Hunter.
FY Marana, that was always a good one too.
Oh yeah, Marana, but not the greatest support combo to duel with it.
I don't see this being a Marana game.
No.
Not good against Jug at all.
Yeah. Oh, an arrow's coming.
Yeah, maybe it was more of
3
a
ways to not die here. Dodge it. Press my skill.
maybe it was more of it than I picked than we thought.
I actually played a game in Mirana the other day.
How'd you do?
Bad.
That's
Yeah.
well. Sometimes
used to love
sometimes the
Marana.
arrows land, sometimes they don't. That's
They
just
are
that's
a bit
Dota.
fluky. Do you know what the final talent is on that one as well?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the
those
3 arrows.
Triple arrows.
Triple arrows.
It's good fun.
Crazy. I'm going to get triple luck.
Running pretty low on time here.
Yeah, that's caused a few issues, isn't it, for VGJ? A little bit to think about here.
They see both the supports of IGV, so the mood makes
I could see them going for maybe an Invoker on BTJ as well. Center setup.
FY
Tusk kind of
Tusk.
covers it too.
Tusk is so fun to watch, and we actually seen
Yeah.
FY play it early in this tournament, and they won.
He wrecked that game, if I
Yeah,
remember
he
correctly.
did.
Was that against? Was that the game against OG that they won? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
They
was the
had,
only
Final
game.
data groups.
Only game OG
Freeze
lost.
was playing
Yeah.
Lina.
Yeah, I think they just go burst damage here. That way they can kill during global silence.
Yeah, I mean,
something
they've
like
got
that.
no damage between those 3 heroes. Both aggressive and Freeze's hero is going to be some high damage heroes. Freeze plays a lot of Ember, could be something you think
I was gonna
of.
say Ember's in there.
Yeah, it'd be
Invoker's
good.
in there.
Ember Stormer probably is 2 heroes. Tinker maybe is a consideration.
A
The dog
bounty
fights
hunter on the
bounty.
other side.
Whoa.
It's really good for pressuring Silencer. I think that's actually one weakness that teams are kind of haven't been exploiting. Is that like level 1, level 2, the hero's really vulnerable to roaming in Biz heroes. He's got kind of crappy armor, kind of crappy HP. He can't stop heroes from hitting him. He just kind of nukes him.
I feel like Tusk will just show up.
That's
Tusk
true.
is pretty good against Bounty in the early game.
Yeah. So, but then they have to stay together, and Silencer can't roam very well. So
That's true.
It's basically like force them to be together, or
Yeah.
at least
And
only
then
harass away from towers.
If they're both together in the safe lane, Bounty Hunter can head towards the mid lane, potentially win that lane for them as well there. There's that Ember.
Could do the Jug mid now. Pretty good matchup versus Ember if they want to get a carry, but
Especially with Bounty.
yeah. They get to see VGJ's last pick and they can
Yeah.
decide their 10th pick of the draft, whether they want to go mid carry and just look to
Yeah, they can
utilize that.
They can either put Jug in the safe lane up against like Centaur, for example, or they could pick something that might lane a little better in Centaur and throw Jug mid, because Jug versus Ember is a pretty good matchup already. But they could also pick something that's just anti-Ember in the mid lane, whether it's an OD or I wouldn't like OD actually against Silencer, but they could go Shadow Fiend still.
That'd be really good. Just get a BKB core, like in the front line, because Jug has some issues doing that. So
Yeah, he's got to be a little careful. You know, he gets Centaur stomped and then into Global Silence, and he could die.
I'd be kind of iffy playing SF against Ember Tusk though. That doesn't sound very fun. I feel like I'm just gonna get run down on the laning stage and killed a lot.
Definitely possible. But if they, you know, they have the opportunity to pick pretty like, no, you're right. Oh, Ursa. Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah, pretty good. Like you get amped Omni Slash, you just pop your ult and you can soak up that damage pretty nicely. Good
Yeah.
front line to have.
He's definitely matches up really well against Juggernaut. But what I really like is that how much kind of self-sufficiency he provides VGJ in the laning phase. Now, this is going to help them deal with the Bounty Hunter. Because we talked about that Bounty Hunter roaming between a couple lanes and them not necessarily being able to deal with it. But now I think Tusk and Silencer will have a lot of freedom to move throughout the map. And I think like Ursa Silencer, for example, will be totally fine against Slaughter Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. And also, IGV is very likely to grab a BKB core or something like that for the last pick, and Ursa's just typically very good against those. So I feel like they not only cover their lanes, but also protect them against whatever IGV picks.
Yeah, they are lacking in a couple of different categories, though. We've seen Ursa lineups just fail over and over this
I
tournament.
mean, how do you hit buildings? That's the biggest
Yeah,
area. You look at
there's-
this draft and you say, how do they win games and hit buildings?
Not the hardest of initiations from IGV, so Ursa with a Deso might feel kind of
Yeah.
safe walking up to buildings, but Ember's not going to, and Centaur, I guess, can hit
Wow.
the buildings if he's really stacked.
Yeah.
But Shadow Fiend pick,
Kevin didn't like it, but they seem to.
well, I think that's
they had to, I think.
yeah, it's
range. You want range carry versus Ursa that can kind of cut him around a bit. So
we'll see. I like Vici J's laning phase just for the fact that when IGV kind of roams mid to help the Shadow Fiend, that the side lanes for Vici J will kind of win the 1v1s.
Okay.
That's cool.
All right, very quick predictions. Let's go down the line. Kevin.
I like Vici J's draft better, I think.
Okay.
I'll take IGV. I feel like they have tools to win the game. And that's where I think the other Vici J is lacking.
Okay.
I'm with Kevin on this one. Vici Gaming.
Ganging up on Peter in the middle.
Yeah. He's a TI champ. I don't like our odds, but you know.
No building damage. There's no way for them to end the game. Unless they just crush.
Okay, so Gods is going with
and
IG.
FY I trust.
With IG Vitality as well.
I
go with Vici. I'm with Vici.
Are you going to you're going to switch?
I believe in I believe in FY.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought Peter may have persuaded you, but
no.
It turns out not. So there it is, 2-1 for our opening game of the day. It is a best of 3, so we will be seeing our panel members once more at the end. But let's now head down game side to our commentary team of Fogged and Kodogai.
We get ready for our opening matchup of day 2, and it's IGV versus VGJ. IGV, as we know, able to kind of just bully and run right past LGD. VGJ, though, take a game away from NP that maybe shouldn't have been theirs. Now, here we are, Fogged. The panel seems to think VGJ have great, strong lanes, but are they going to be able to follow it up, taking down objectives?
I'm concerned for Ursa. I'm going to have to go with side with Peter here. I do like IGV's strategy. I like what they've got going for them. I think it's just overall they have a better win condition. Hate using that word, hate using that term, but still I just do think they do be able to break the high ground and everything. It's just going to be able to work out for them. We'll see how their rotations work. We'll see if the Bounty Hunter works as well. It's going to be cool.
Let's get dark and let's get into it now. It is game time here. Both these teams looking to battle it out through the nitty-gritty and battle their way. They've made it out from those scary best of ones, which is one step in itself. But now it's time to really prove your worth and make it in through the second round here. As we get underway, we keep tabs on the laning phase to see what kind of setups they're going to be going for here. Keep eyes, of course, on this gentleman. Dogfights, as we know, very aggressive player in the early laning stage, to see if he's going to be trying to keep tabs and try to pressure the Ember Spirit, or maybe head to the side lane and pressure the Silencer and just keep him at bay.
I think just, yeah, keep eyes on the Tusk, because it's really important so that they can't make the roaming potential onto the Shadow Fiend.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the panel was saying, just like Kevin was saying too, like trying to just force those supports to stick in an area, then make those kind of rotations away from them. Just trying to keep an eye on them though. Definitely, like FY is going to be a concern if he does get a couple of nice rotations onto the Shadow Fiend.
Aggressive sporting that extremely expensive set.
Yep.
On Ursa, just kind of showing that, you know, I'm a TI finalist. Shoutouts, of course, to Wepas, who's going to be our observer for this one. Bright and early morning as we get into action, and IGV not afraid to possibly clash here. Dogfight scouting things out in the high ground, but following it up is going to be Super. Telekinesis there. They're trying to get the early first blood onto Freeze. A snowball will come out from FY, and now they're going to move it on forward. Packing up aggressive for the fight. They're going to take it right back to him and drop down Super. Now a turnaround Monster Crush comes out. And welcome to the first game
of
VGJ versus IG. Can they get a hold of him? Little Fenrir's going to make it out. In July, though, gets off the crush, but ultimately he should be going down. They need a bit more, and they'll get it with a snowball. VGJ scoffing at IG. How dare you try to come in and invade our bounty rune?
Tusk Ursa, level 1, is something definitely to be feared. Every single time he lets the Ursa close the gap. Plus the Orb of Venom slow, they're able to just bring them down, even though IG does get the initial gun on them. The spin was wasted. Their mass damage potential in the early laning phase, in the early game, was used already there. So,
I mean, you look at IG's lineup, and you can't say that they don't have a bad level 1. So maybe they were just not assuming so many bodies were just going to suddenly be there for Vici.
Just perfect snowball.
Yeah, just great snowball, great turnaround, and a monster level 1 already breaking out, and a big confidence boost for VGJ here as we break down the lanes. Super doing his best to kind of phase out ROTK in the top lane, but he has that solo safe lane to work with as they kind of get a bit more aggressive in the southern part of the map. Aggressive, really going toe-to-toe against In July.
ROTK is dead.
Oh, and he gets taken under the tower. Classic ROTK.
Yeah, he's got to... You have to really be careful. He got harassed a little bit by the Rubik, couple extra right clicks by Paparazzi, and then just gets spinned down. That's the nice thing of the aggression. They did have to expend a lot of regen for it now, so Paparazzi and Super actually have no regen between the two of them for this offlane now, which is definitely a concerning issue. I think they should probably be able to bring some up there. Otherwise, they're going to have to make rotations soon if the Silencer does start putting out harassment.
Yeah, they have that block, so Poor little Fenrir here is now trying to bully back a lane where they kind of have an advantage here with Super having that second level. It looks like he will be able to pull the aggro a bit. Nah, he holds onto a couple of the birds, but doesn't make it to the lane in time. Trying to pull it back a bit so it's not in the safety zone for ROTK. But as the mid lane here, trading under the tower, Sakata trying to get disrespected. Freeze looking to move in. Hits a couple of tower shots, and a pause is going to get forced out. Bit of an awkward timing there, but Sakata does happen to juke what looks like the correct direction.
That's concerning for Freeze. He's in a precarious situation right now. Ember being a very low armor hero under the tower. He's kind of speedy right now, but
where are you going to go, buddy? It looks like someone's
the
drawing
lines
out.
are being drawn. They're like, all right, we got to make a plan right now. Freeze, we got to save you.
We have FY agent nearby by the bottom rune. Maybe could rotate over. He might be level 2, so perhaps a long ball shards or something could bail him out. But we could see Sakata turn the corner here and suddenly pull back the reins in this mid lane. Looks like our sound issue is quickly getting. I just assumed it was a sound issue, but whatever issue it is getting resolved here at the moment, and we'll be able to get back into action.
All right, here we go. Let's see what happens.
All right, Freeze.
Freeze definitely has to cut down.
Another shot under the tower, but
he's got boots, so he is very mobile. Tusk is making the rotation over as well. Sakata not very healthy.
He just chews on some spinach and walks himself back into the lane. But maybe something Sakata won't expect is FY agent is still here. At the moment, though, unfortunate timing for him as he doubles back for the courier.
Oh, Freeze gets a regen rune top.
Mighty Frog has blessed Freeze on this day. And you can even hear the audience like, oh, how good for you, Freeze. Yeah. You could just feel it here.
He took a risk to try to go for the dive, gets a regen rune. I mean, that's the dream right there. If you got the kill, it would have been even more.
Your cojones have been rewarded, sir. Yeah. Back at bottom, dogfights, still trying to find where he can add a bit of pressure here, trying to pull the aggro away from aggressive so he can't take it into the lane, and looks like he will do so, but he's not able to zone back the aggressive, so I'm curious to see what they're going to try to do with him at this point. Those dogfights pick up packing and head elsewhere to add a bit of extra pressure, maybe towards the top lane, or do you think he's doing enough being down here poking at the bear?
I think they just don't want to leave in July alone, and I think they don't want to be able to like splitting tri-lane experience. They want to get maybe like 1 or 2 levels on the bounty hunter first before he starts making those big rotations. Because he does, I mean, once he gets level 3, if he gets like a shuriken toss, they're able to actually break the Ember Shield and go for kills with the Shadow Fiend.
Ooh.
Sakata scouting him out.
Yeah, pings exactly where FY was and just kind of pokes his head on and says, I know you're there, by the way, so you want to leave now?
Here we go. They've got level 2 now.
Okay.
They've got the Janata as well, but the Sentry is down. Spots dogfights. They're going to have to best back up.
Gank thwarted. Looks like here, VGJ will kind of avoid the pressure from that one a bit. And that does relieve a bit of aggressive's troubles, if there were any troubles for him in the bottom lane, knowing the bounty hunter is not in attendance. He can continue to go to work there.
Freeze doing some bait play right here, it looks like, but uh-oh.
Tried to sidestep the raise, but ends up going down. FY will end up rolling in with the snowball and at least getting a bit of redemption there, but Freeze overplays his hand a little bit.
Yeah, he was baiting, but it was just took a little bit more damage than he was expecting.
Yeah. Tried to shrug off a lot of it, maybe with the help of the Flame Guard and a careful sidestep, but unfortunately with timing not working out, he has to kind of TP back the lane and get back to the grind there. Setting out, waiting out the Arcane Rune at the top of the river for him.
Yeah, kind of as expected. Vici's lane's a little bit stronger, as the panel was mentioning as well.
Yep.
Just pulling a little bit ahead, especially also because of the first blood situation which happened.
Things going a little as expected here. For the first time in a while, though, VGJ getting the upper hand in the top lane now as they lead it off with a curse, a snowball in. Super will get caught out. Nice shards there from FY to lock him in place.
Great movement coming out. They're not even expecting him. Dogfights could maybe be doing a bit of a better job scouting him, but also FY is just having very good rotations just coming in at the opportune times.
Yeah, he'd been floating between that bottom and mid lane for quite a while, and then it catches IG a bit off guard when he makes the full rotation all the way up north at this point. So still Vici taking advantage of their strong lanes here, getting a lot out of it, and still have more peaks to look forward to. I would imagine ROTK getting close to that level 6. Then he has Stampede to work with. Aggressive might, eventually step away from this bottom lane setup and try to get some blood on his hands. For now, probably going to be handing the lane over to someone else in the bottom while he works in the nearby jungle.
Yeah, he's just waiting for the shrine. Doesn't want to have to go back to base. Just getting a little bit extra bonus farm. Very risky though, sitting at very low health. If Dogfights was there, he'd be able to grab that kill.
Yeah, we haven't been seeing a crazy amount of bounty hunter in this tournament. You got to remember though, he is a part of the game. For now, the dogfight's still flirting around.
Yeah, this is a good lane swap. They're already like, we're not really farming well on Paparazzi. He's not having the greatest lane top. They're not able to really pressure the Centaur after that first blood because of the rotations and because they lack the regen, as I was mentioning. They just kept getting harassed. They can't really walk up there in fear. Yeah. So Paparazzi makes a move bottom. Dogfights, he's hasted though.
Yeah, look at this. Running all out,
gets him with shards.
Gets him with the shards. FY sets it up, then Dogfight's frantically hiding. Golems help me here, but they'll just slash him apart.
Damn, FY.
He's, we don't get to see him play Tusk very often, but he knows how to throw the snow. That was awesome.
Beautiful. I mean, perfect rotations coming out from FY from the beginning of this game, even at the first blood, all the way coming in now to 6-minute mark. He's involved in pretty much all the kills now. Aggressive, making his first move top. He actually picks up. That's something completely unexpected, right? Yep. The Ursa just comes out and ganks here. What the hell is the Ursa doing up here now? Yeah, but it's the same kind of mirror rotation. We see the Jug go bottom, so Ursa's like, all right, I'm going top. And now RTK switches up. So those type of just mirror rotations that we do see very often now.
All right, so they are holding on to their leash and their advantage in this laning phase as the fights begin to break out a bit. As level 6s come under their belts though, and they're being able to get that to work, we want to see them try to push forward and get those +1s, get those tier 1s taken down. You don't want IG to just kind of have a tough laning phase and then still be able to play the economy game and then suddenly show up to play in the mid game. Yeah. And VGJ could be stunted a bit, but now getting their ideal matchup once again. ROTK going toe-to-toe with Paparazzi at the moment. He is so close to that level 6 now.
Ember is 6 now. Shadow Fiend just gonna have to just go to the jungle. There's just too much aggression that can come out of that mid lane. Too many ways to just get on top of him and kill him. And Sakata, I mean, you're a Shadow Fiend. You just jungle faster anyway. You might as well just give
Bounty
lane.
Hunter mid lane and going for track.
Dogfights though.
You leave Bounty Hunter in the mid lane though, and they recognize that. They'll
Freeze is out
take
of mana,
advantage
but
of it. Freeze hates a shot, walks away, considering he has no blue bar, it's fine. FY tries to sidestep here. I don't know if he's going to find any way out of deny. Nice. Golem comes up and hits him with a right hook and says, I'll do it.
All right, FY, take it easy this game, man. He's actually just everywhere.
He's having a hell of a game. All right, IG, have to chalk up another one here. And it feels like more and more they're baking up for a big mid game, a big period to kind of build up on back of the track money. While VGJ are just kind of scooting by with a wonderful laning phase, a 7-2 kill advantage. And as you can see, in July now level 6. And with the corrosive haze here, can bring an extra bit of physical firepower.
They're stealing this big stack right now with Sakata. Aggressive now trying to make something happen. Dogfights actually reveals himself.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's gonna get dusted. He's gotta get brought down easily. No. In July though, he's gonna get a crush follow-up, but a Dogfight's dead for sure. +2 to Fenrir.
All right.
Oh, Fenrir's so smart right now. Look at this, 8 already. Oh no, aggressive.
So smart, but then Sakata jumps in and raises the hell out of aggressive.
That's a massive kill for your Shadow Fiend there, killing the carry of the other team. Look how far ahead he just pulled up.
He just showed up to the top lane. He missed the whole fight, and he's like, well, I didn't come here for no reason. Just blasts down the bear and says, that's good for me. And takes
did he do that one?
Back.
I didn't get a chance to. Did he do it directly from Fog? Was it just there as I couldn't see him there, or just aggressive, just not expecting it at all? It looked like it probably was from Fog.
It was like straight down the line, right through aggressive.
Brutal.
Got him in that beautiful mid-range spot. Now, RTK with rotation down to the bottom lane. Aggressive TPs, hiding within the trees, then shows himself. With the power of the Stampede, he runs right in, gets some slaps onto Paparazzi. He tries to Blade Fury out from this one. Does he have the move speed to make it away? Does look like they're going to change their target and go for Super instead. One more shot should get the finish, and Aggressive will pick it up.
Nice rotation, again, from Aggressive. VTJ just very keen on this laning phase, just constantly trying to run at people.
Level 6s are online. Yep, let's put them to work.
Yep. Stampede comes online. A mid lane, Freeze, going for a play here too with the Ember.
Sakata
gets pushed a little bit back.
Gets the TP assistance there.
Sakata going for the Yule's build. So removing the silence, remove the embers, kiting possibilities for the Ursa, the combos too.
The Spirit Bomb, yeah.
Yeah, Spirit Bomb.
Shout outs to, I believe, Starladder Season 7 was like the first time I see that, which went into thereafter the first DAC 2 years ago. And that's when
Sumail did it, and that's when it was a
hell of a show.
And then it got nerfed. Yule's got nerfed.
And here we are with a bit of a throwback here. And as you mentioned, the item pretty appropriate for this game, if anything. So.
Yeah, multiple different uses versus the side of Vici. Not only saving himself for his initiations, but yeah, definitely a good pickup here versus the Silencer and the Ember.
IG still bouncing around their bounty hunter a bit, utilizing his scouting capability, gets down some deep wards, but also need to get him those levels, man. Book is available if they want to kind of purchase it and get him in
lane again,
faster,
Sakata.
Roll in from FY, set for Sakata, can't go for the finish, rotations are coming out now. And the Stampede is out. They think about doing a 180, run right back in, looking to go for Sakata, but they can't catch him. Ring around the Rosie through the tree, but they'll finally get the pop. Now they look for a return kill onto Freeze, and it will be there.
Dogfight's living because of his raindrop, 10 HP. Woo. That's good. You just said you wanted to track, right? He just wanted to get his levels, so he just picks up himself a nice kill onto Freeze, getting close to that level 6 onto the Bounty Hunter.
It looked like that all started with an FY dive onto the tower, and they keep trying to do so, punishing Sakata, but then they get put in that awkward spot just behind it with the trees that they're able to juke in and out of. Rotations come in, the shrine nearby helps out too. It's just...
I mean, this is what VCJ's draft needs to do in the laning phase, in the mid game. They need to just be constantly running at them, because the only way that they break high ground, like, I mean, I said it before, like the win condition is that they, you know, they need to just be dominating. They need to be excessively ahead versus IGV's lineup in order to really go for those high ground sieges, those big objectives.
We're already seeing now a couple of misplays, turnarounds, freebies being handed over, and IG haven't even been able to get to that point where they can really make the money. They're getting there now as mid game does approach, and it looks like they're drawing out a game plan to head up and through that top lane, where currently Vici are favoring Fenrir, obviously getting that level 6. He has global available now. So if they want to set up a new play here, leading with a Stampede Silence, they can do it. But bottom lane is Freeze, getting the jump, getting the finish onto Super.
Yeah, just that happens, you know, when you have 4 heroes, you're trying to push it lane, your other support's like trying to get his 6, or trying to like, get a little bit of farm and not lose that bottom tower. It's one of those things as a support, you're like, I'm probably going to die down here, but you know what, guys, you're going to get the tier 1 top, and yeah, maybe you could have avoided that death, but not the biggest problem if he dies there.
RTK is getting super close to that Blink Dagger now. Just
Yeah.
250 away. Might urge them to just stay away from taking fights until they at least get it finished.
Him and In July are very close, very even on the Blink Dagger coming out.
Okay.
It's going to be about 400 for In July. RTK is going to have maybe a couple minutes, maybe a minute earlier, maybe 30 seconds earlier.
All right, pings near the pit here.
Oh, they're going for the Roche short very early with the corrosive phase, and Sakata, I believe, has his Presence of the Dark Lord, maybe 1 levels on it. Yeah, so he gets the extra -3 armor on that too.
I mean, you're taking away from an Ursa lineup.
That's a really good point.
That's exactly what they want to do. I mean, this is part of also Vici's game plan, I'd imagine, to swell up and just be way too of a dominant force, but now they're looking to intercept him a bit. Potential catch, super low, has to get the hell back. It looks like they will do so. Vici, enough pressure, though, to force IG to second-guess going in for the Roche, and they'll have to save that plan for another day.
I think it's just a little bit safer to just wait for the Blink Dagger. Like, they don't have a good form of initiation. Sure, they have the bounty for vision, but this Sentry Ward is pretty much being placed everywhere by Vici.
RTK has this Blink. I bet they're smoked right there behind that tower, aren't they? Yep. Yes, they are. Here they come.
They're making the move.
It's time to get some blood on this dagger.
Ooh, wait a minute.
It was under the vision of IG. If they happen to see that rune just disappear out of nowhere,
it looks like they knew.
They're going to be like, that's fishy.
Here.
They're like, that rune disappeared in thin air. It's an invis rune, I know, but come on.
Rule of thumb.
Something's fishy.
Rule of thumb, if you are smoking toward the safe lane, making your first rotation for those towers, you usually don't want to be picking up those runes, but in this one, they already got the tower here. They could have probably netted themselves a kill, though. So a little bit of a mistake coming out, but
they round the corner, and they could end up hitting up mid from behind here. A pretty decent position with that invis ROTK. Ooh, they drop the sentry. They're making a move for FY, even with the Omni Slash. The global comes out, but it might be a bit late. They'll still use it to try to take a fight. Freeze does get Yulesed up, trying to get the burst play there. Sakata fires out his own, and it looks like we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of bloodshed. With the takedown of Jug, though, Vici get a prize pick. It's good. Probably not as good as they were hoping for, leading this all in with the smoke and with a global also committed. It's good, but now look at IG can just kind of move in, even without their Jug, and get back to business for the Roche. You know, with Stampede on cooldown, global on cooldown, not much to stop them. Tasty treat for Vici, but obviously we're hoping to get a bit more. But FY...
They don't kill it as fast as they'd like.
Yeah.
Vici has a couple different methods to be able to spam them out with the Ember, the Tusk, the Curse coming out from the Silencer too. Intimidation Remnant coming out.
Super awkward here. They need that extra bit of physical power coming in.
Oh, they're going to get the wraparound.
Everybody on the team on board with this game plan.
Everybody's like, let's go around this way. Oh, no, let's go around this way.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
let's
is
go
it
around this way.
predictable? Look who's going to be on the high ground, possibly. Oh, they don't know. Aggressive is actually moving in for the Ancients. They spot the little cowboy bear, and they take them apart.
Three-man stun by ROTK, though.
Yeah, but it might be too late. They already lost most of their firepower, but Freeze does show up now to help supplement that. They are going to get the takedown of Dogfight, but the follow-up stun's there from In July. On the other side, Sakata going to get blasted apart, and it is still Vici's fight to take.
Buyback as well from Aggressive. Now they're going to go for the Roche with the Ursa. Very good decision to buy back. Even though he didn't get himself like that many kills, it's for the Roche.
Yep. Shrines, just a wonderful addition.
Oh, nice, beautiful shards from FY Stampede coming out super. Bye-bye. +2. Now he's at 16 on Fenrir.
Man. I was just kind of jokingly saying, like, Shrines add to the game, make opportunities like that possible, you know? Just buy back. I'll just Shrine in the middle of the fight TP. And as if I never was gone in the first place. You know, IG commit in hard, they get a lot done for Aggressive, but then they don't have as much for the follow-up. And yeah, RTK holding him there with that beautiful stun lead-in allows the whole thing to go down. And, you know, great for Vici. They take that Roche. They have one tier 1 going down the bottom lane, but do you think they're just happy with how it's going now? Do you think there's still that concern of not being able to kind of move forward with the overall scope of this game?
They're feeling a little bit better because they got the Roche and they just had that, this big team fight. But they still want to be able to just, they want to be claiming those tier 1s as fast as possible. Really good 3-man stun there by ROTK. The follow-up with Freeze. Just so much magic damage with that newly purchased Veil. Sakata wasn't able to get Requiem because it was still on cooldown. So their big team fight ultimate wasn't, only real big team fight ultimate was on cooldown there. So a little bit of a bold play there that they're trying to go for. Since Global was down, they thought that they'd be a little bit stronger. But without Requiem, it's a bit tough.
It's kind of hard to fault them after that first initial setup where they're not able to finish the Roche and they're like, let's just smoke, let's wrap around. If we get a good pick on this aggressive kill, then we can take the Roche for ourselves. But Vici understand the value of this moment in time in the game. They take a good fight.
Vici's dewarding and everything. Just they are very prepared for this bounty hunter. They take a look around.
Nice little
quick
pick off. Execution onto Super there, spotted from the high ground.
Nice.
They were smoked for that approach, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, they had a ward up there, but obviously under the smoke, not going to be seeing that one coming.
These tier 1s are pretty important for Vici. Just need to close that map control a bit. Just keep that aggression non-stop.
And without too many crazy successful fights, that means we're not getting a lot of track money here for IG, and their growth is just kind of stunted right now. Oh, Paparazzi confident in the top lane, but they're quickly converging on top of him.
Gets the spin off, but he's going to get punched by FY.
Oh, uppercutted and sent crashing down. He gets dropped. Dominating performance for Freeze.
That's another big reason to have this Tusk. You know, they didn't really have any other method to stop the spin TP, but with the Tusk, they're able to do that with the punch.
Yeah, that's actually...
It's always good to have one of those. It's always good to have one of those type of things. We do see a lot of teams tend to draft that. Like when you see the Jug picked up early on, they usually have like one hero, like Axe or something, to stop those spin TPs, like some type of situation like that.
Yeah, we may just see more of that Tusk pop up and going against something like the Jug, just because Axe is falling out of favor in the offlane when you have the power of your Mags and Centaurs and stuff coming here. Top lane, IG, still one track money, and. You know,
gotta defend these tier 1s.
They need to almost have everyone at attendance for these kind of fights too. Yeah. And now you have Global's going to be up for Vici. There's just no easy fights to take here. But you can already see and just feel the difference between these 4 positions in this game. Like the FY impact in the early game. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, his hero damage is already 4.5k. That's a support at less than 20 minutes in the game. That's fairly high. His levels are going to be extremely good too, since he's involved in majority of the kills, and now he already has his 40% XP talent. He's almost level 12, going to be picking up a Blink Dagger. Blink is going to be great not only for initiates, for getting out of sticky situations, helping his teammates as well. And Omni Slash comes in, or a Requiem. If they do try to do, let's say, like the Yules into Requiem combo, he can blink in, snowball somebody instantly, and get those survivability things. So FY already prepping around the item choices that IGV has chosen.
We saw a bit of it in that previous skirmish under the Vici Shrine where Aggressive was able to buy back and TP in. He had prolonged things with the power of his snowball, sharding out other opponents and just kind of making things long-winded, which they love. That means more chains, more time for people to kind of get back into the fight.
They also now, Vici also has like four different ways of just like mobility, and getting on top of people during the global. So with like now a blink on Ember as well. So now it's like everybody kind of has their own, except for the silencer, they all have like a really hard way to just get into the backline, just get into the fight during the global and burst somebody down. Global coming out, Paparazzi looks like he might be in trouble. ROTK with the stun, with double edge. Do they have enough? They do. IGV. Paparazzi dies again.
This is hitting IG pretty damn hard. It's obvious Vici still feeling a lot of the momentum from their successful MP match yesterday, and they're not stopping now. This tier 2 is going to get dropped. And for a team that hasn't been able to throw together a lot of tower hitters or ways to take objectives, they're getting it done now. Mid lane though, FY may be the sacrifice here. Though he's got the snowball and the time he needs.
Blink's on cooldown though.
Yeah,
is he gonna be able to get raised? Yes.
Nice snipe there from Sakata.
But aggressive's going in, gets Yule straight away.
Step off.
And gets thwarted.
Very nice. He'll have to pull off there. It's a forgiving pick. And probably a little bit of track money, but ooh.
Nice little play there. Perfectly timed slight.
Freeze just dancing around with him now. And IG gotta start looking for new options here. What do you think those options should be? We haven't been able to see them kind of move out with too many smoke plays. They've been kind of really concerned about that ever since their thwarted smoke that they tried to invade with previously. But it looks like we might have something new now.
They've got BKB online for the Shadow Fiend. I think that they ideally want to be waiting for Paparazzi's Manta, but he's like, every time I try to go for these like split off to farm, I'm just getting picked off. So let's just go for a team fight. Maybe then I can finish up the Manta style off of that. Go for another tier 1, some pressure.
Now they have pressure in the mid lane from Sakata. Maybe a mild bait, as it looks like IG take to the high ground here, but with Vici's current positioning, oh, poor Fenrir could be the one to go scout it. No. Dogfights now. Moves in close enough to get the vision for the Fenrir setup. Could be easy track money and jump and play. FY wants to save his partner in crime. Puts him inside the snowball. Pulls him back, but I don't think he'll be making it out from there. He ends up getting dropped. The Omni Slash will fly out.
Paparazzi's going to die as well.
Mild damage, though. It's mitigated easily between him, and now Paparazzi puts himself into a bit of trouble, and he is done for here. Another significant, heavy-handed fight for Vici.
ROTK just went on to Sakata. Sakata doesn't get his BKB off, gets annihilated before the fight even starts, so the wraparound that his team was preparing ends up being kind of a bait. They kind of got baited themselves. They're like, oh, we have a Shadow Fiend pushing in. He's going to get BKB off and survive. But no, gets bursted instantly. Great reactions from Vici to go for the Shadow Fiend, not reacting to saving Fenrir too much, just FY reacting for that one.
Just there and in the right place when IG just think that they're trying to smoke, come in from behind the tower and get a forgiving pick or two with the help of track, but no, not at all. Vici there, really employing that buddy-buddy system. And now Vici can move towards the top lane and claim that tier 1 that still stands. IG to the drawing board, man. It is not looking good. 8-23 and about 23 minutes into the game.
And Aggressive's going for the good item build that the panel was mentioning, that we've been seeing, that like NP was theory crafting and everything. At Summit, we do see the Desolator going to be picked up from that Earth. So since, you know, that hero, so like we always say, suffers at breaking high ground, that gives you the method to be able to do so. IGV, this one feels like a little bit of a
desperate, but they.
Yeah,
but heading into the high ground of Vici, they're going to see him. They will be able to spot little Fenrir here, but Aggressive, the bad bear, next to him, looking to go for one more slash and the finish onto Slardar on the other front. Dogfights hit from the uppercut here. Snowball back in. Can Sakata be able to get the finish? He will be able to bring down a little silencer, but Freeze still around, pops out a slight, jumping in Aggressive, gets one last slap and a finish on the poor little Dogfights. Re-engagement now. The jump from RTK gets the crush, and Sakata's gone. They will be able to bring down Aggressive here, but at what cost? Paparazzi's life could be at stake. Oh, the shard's not quite there to block, but they have him surrounded, and they have him finished.
Godlike on Freeze already.
Yeah, this is a clinic being put on from Vici J. All repercussions from a wonderful and strong laning phase they've been able to draft themselves into.
It's a massive amount of magical damage that they really do have with this Veil on the Ember. They have like the Centaur, all of his abilities get buffed up, Tusk as well, Silencer, everything just becomes a lot more, becomes amplified a lot more, and IGV doesn't really have anything to react with this. With the Bounty Hunter and the Rubik being so underleveled, underfarmed, it's really just hurting them a lot. Looking at the replay, Fenrir does get crushed. They're not able to bring him down instantly though, so he gets the global off, Stampede comes out, and that's where the fight just becomes super difficult. It becomes Vici just having the ease of execution there. They click global, they click Stampede, just like Peter was saying. When you see that running at you, you're like, oh my god, we can't do anything, we can't react. Sakata, I'm pretty sure, I don't think he even had full souls there. It looked like a low soul Requiem. Didn't even deal out the most damage, and Vici just way too durable at this point with the amount of levels and farm that they've accrued.
They're fighting it through these trees, all these little choke points and alleys, and then you get one shard that blocks off half the core potential from IG on one side while they deal with the other half. It's pretty crazy how it's almost like a choreographed dance for a lot of these fights for Vici, or whether it's just a circumstance that happens to fall out from the ridiculous fight. It's all going well for him. So just moving in and getting the Roche.
For me, I'm just like looking at the. I tend to always look as a support player. I always look at you match up the support heroes, and you're looking at the Silencer and the Tusk, and you're like, man, these guys are doing a lot. They're doing tons of damage in the fights. They're using their abilities properly. Just. Maybe not dealing the most damage Tusk is, but Fenrir is doing his job with his globals. Then you look at the Bounty Hunter Rubik. What do they really commit in these? What do they really give you in these fights? It's like, okay, a lift and a... Oh.
Global, and it's all to get
global, okay,
nice
they go for Paparazzi here.
For Paparazzi, too. He's out 53 seconds without a buyback. This is Tier 2 territory, possibly a threat into the high ground too from BTJ.
Yeah, their supports are just way stronger. Like a Bounty throws a Shuriken in a fight, there's a Fade Ball coming out. It's pretty hard for him to get like that great of steals. He ideally wants to get like Stampede or something along the lines like this, but it's way too difficult versus the side of Vici when they're all running at you, and when you're global, when you're silenced, you can't do anything.
Yep.
And now we have ROTK already finishing up the Aghanim's on the Centaur, so a lot of the damage that IGV was already lacking is now
even worse.
Gone.
It's like they were throwing pillows before, now they're going to be throwing air.
just now the feather's inside the pillow. Just individual feather throwing.
The Nerf bats that IG are swinging around, unfortunately, don't seem like they're going to be doing any damage anytime soon to Vici. But maybe still looking to fight on the back of hopes that Vici could overstep, maybe get a bit overzealous here. Maybe take too long to kind of close things out and reward time for IG to be able to scrap together some farm.
Yep, Vici still has to break high ground. They are at quite a massive lead at the moment, but still breaking high ground can be a bit difficult if IGV plays it properly. And they're going for like that kind of oh, in July with a bit of a mistake there. I think he may have actually been able to get that crush on him there. But those kind of things do happen in Dota. It's okay, they do lose a tier 2 here now.
Not playing the full distance of the blink, whatever the
that's
case
starting
may
to
be.
That's starting to get painful. They are going for like the Midas onto the Slaughter and stuff, so they are prepping to go for that late game. They do understand that the way that the game is supposed to work for them. FY with quick blink out.
Can't help poor Slaughter. You can feel the shudder in the arena when something like that happens. It's like, ooh.
You know,
you want to go down?
We have heard it a couple times. I have talked to Jack a bit in July. He does get a little bit nervous. I think one of his nicknames kind of was like nervous boy or something along the lines like that.
Bro,
so
probably.
yeah, nervous bro, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to put bro at the back of everything. But yeah, you know, whatever may be the land jitters, you're here.
Just
you're
a little bit, yeah.
In front of the home crowd, going against, you know, ROTK is a legend in the game.
That too. It could be the intimidation. A lot of things you have to factor into these type of situations.
And, well, Vici, take a moment to kind of reset here. I don't doubt they're probably waiting things out for really claiming a next Roche or a new Aegis, but they know that they have this game pretty much in good grasp. I gotta say, though, as I just ponder the net worth, it is surprising to still see Sakata ranked so high in the net worth. He's been pretty good about just still finding some farm, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing him really beat ass in fights. He's 5 and 5 rather, but he's still hanging in there as far as net worth.
Nature of the Shadow Fiend. They're prioritizing ganking the Juggernaut a lot in the times too, so that gives Sakata maybe a little bit of space to kind of just like farm around and do his thing.
Yeah. The problem is that Jug. When you look down, and the Jug is even a good chunk behind where even ROTK is for the other team, and you know, it does feel like it could be pretty heavy on the shoulders of the Yules of Shadow Fiend at that point.
I've really been liking just Vici's vision game this game. It's been every single time they've had either like Ob's Sentry on high ground or Sentry place in lane. I mean, these two teams, they know each other. They've played each other a good amount of times. They know dogfights. This guy plays his Rickies. This guy plays his Bounties. They understand how to play versus this type of hero. And they're executing it pretty damn well right now. It's all about just how are they going to be able to break this high ground with the Dessa, with the Aegis, versus IGV's lineup?
Yeah, let's look at the high ground defense here for IGV, and I gotta say, I'm not super impressed.
It's not the greatest, yeah. I mean, they
could do some work if you catch them on the hill in an awkward spot with a good crush.
They're just the tracks. That's the big thing. Is they're going to always have vision of the high ground push. They'll just throw a couple tracks out, and then that's that's kind of an intimidating factor too. As Vici, you're like, all right, 4 of us are tracked.
Yeah, they see what we're doing. You overstep a bit away from your creeps. You get hit with an Omni inside the base of IG.
You can get bursted super heavily by the corrosive haze with Juggernaut, Omni slash with corrosive haze. I mean, that can still bring down almost any hero at any point of the game if you don't, if you aren't prepared for it.
Yeah, still lots of heavy physical burst flavors coming out from IG.
Lots of suffocation coming out from Vici that we do tend to see, that corralling into their base. They have the gem finished up on FY, just constantly looking around for wards. She's going to spot right here, cleans that one up.
Yeah, just building up the gains right now so that when they take a fight, it's almost assured that there's no chance that IG could have the firepower that Vici do bring.
Career? Ooh. Freeze was like, oh, almost. He almost got it. Sakata, though, finishing up that butterfly. Good power peak for him.
Will make life very difficult for Aggressive if he was trying to burst down Sakata on this one. But here comes Vici J after floating around that mid lane quite a bit. Looks like they'd be taking the business all the way here to the top.
Aegis was reclaimed though, so they're doing this a little bit, I would say a little bit risky, but it does, I guess they want to just keep pressing their advantage. But IGV is chilling.
Yeah, the sieging is not the best. You can't really just throw a non-Aegis bear up into the high ground to hit the tower. And
he's just going to have to get a couple. Again, the jump on Sakata though with the global coming out. Sakata, oh no, he doesn't get the BKB off. He doesn't have buyback.
Oh man, just with the overcommitment to the investment and unfortunately not keeping it tabs on his positioning, it's Vici J who spotted the opportunity and fully capitalized on it. Counterplay though, decent crush. IG need a lot though to fend off Vici so they can't follow through with this huge hit inside the base, but it looks like they are going to be able to get the takedown of a tier 3. Oh, IG, just, you can't cross the yellow line, all right? You're going to get punished for it, and they did. Now looking to go for a bit more. Vici J, maybe hoping for a full set of closure here. Popping the Shrine, Paparazzi in the mix with a full Blade Fury. Now pops the Manta, goes into Omni. Can they get the burst firepower? They will be able to take down FY. Still they'll need 30 seconds if they want more damage done, but it looks like it's not going to be enough.
Oh, nice play by Freeze there. Dodges the crush and also cleans up Paparazzi.
Nice grab, and they'll get the Rubik takedown. A buyback's forced out, but it's the lone defender in Slardar. Vici double back, will get the finish on the Rex here, it looks like.
963 gold for In July, just cleaning up the Aggressive after his buyback. He only gets half, or like 60% because of the buyback, but they're bailing out. You know, Shadow Fiend's respawning, and July's trying to get him make another catch. ROTK does get grabbed up. They should be able to clean this one up nice and easy with the Shadow Fiend. He died and comes back, gets his souls from that kill. Gets 15 souls stacked up. Gem also recovered too. Nice little chunk of gold going for Sakata. Did lose a Rax, but
that helps.
That helps a little bit.
I mean, they got slashed in the arm. It was bleeding out profusely, and that helps get at least a little bit of a band-aid there. But you could see
some gauze, you know.
Yeah, the gauze is on there, but you can still see the red seeping through right now. It's pretty bad, but you don't want to be in that kind of situation either, where you're going to be giving IG some free money for them to kind of enhance their potential late game a bit further. Still feels very good for Vici. Don't get me wrong here, but now it's like maybe more of a reason why we might need to make sure we get the Roche before we kind of make these pushes a bit, or get a bit too excited.
Yeah, they got the Rax. I mean, I think they're still pretty happy with. They're still super happy with this.
They got it because of Sakata's awkward positioning there. So in another situation, you know, who knows what things. But the game's not over yet. We'll have to see IG now battle it back, and maybe getting a boast of confidence here after the back end of those trades.
Still scary for Paparazzi, though. It's a lot on Sakata and In July in these fights. They are pretty much everything for IGV. Playing at almost, what, I think it's about a 20 net worth deficit, I want to say, for IGV right now versus Vici. Just about something like that. So, yeah, like 22,000 almost. So.
Does mean more money to take back the crazy rubber band factor, if you will, or track on top of it. But, yeah, IG are still at quite the deficit here. And you could just see that if, unfortunately, they weren't with Sakata, they weren't able to kind of get that extra bit of damage. It does feel a little weak, but here Vici kind of maintain the pressure across the lanes.
Cleaning up the shrines now with Yursa. ROTK is sitting near.
sure if there's maybe one other extra big ticket item for Vici to try to make the closeout a bit easier. I'm seeing some nice big support items they're flexing. The Abyssal's probably coming soon. We just see there the Tusk.
Guarding Grief's evasion, and he's got Talisman of Vision. He's level 20 on the Tusk too. I mean, that hero gets so much experience in team fights. He's the same level as his core Centaur.
He's got a pretty sweet late game to kind of fly into too.
Yeah.
You could even see those late game kicking shenanigans, but here Vici kind of being scouted a bit from dogfights. Aggressive.
Oh
His
my God.
namesake as he goes in deep to go for Paparazzi. They commit in the global, but Sakata steps up to play, hits up the Requiem for the high ground, and Vici have to step off a bit. They pop their pipe, they pop their greaves, and they pop the hell out of that bounty hunter. But now they go back in for more. FY leads it off with a leading in uppercut, but in July,
Crush off the mark again. ROTK with 3-man stun.
3-man crush comes down from the king. And now with a flyout from IG's Omni Slash, they're not scratching at the surface of Vici whatsoever. Paparazzi, a man on the run, but he's not going to be able to make it away. It's over. Oh man, ROTK. An emphatic statement to close out game number 1. And they take it 38-13.
Yeah, I would say a couple of misplays by IGV in July, missing a good amount of his crushes, actually, I would say, when he picked up the Blink Dagger. He missed one in that team fight. He missed the one bottom. He missed 2, actually, in that fight. Then it was just a little bit hard for them, but VGJ definitely putting on the pressure, forcing those kind of mistakes when they're the ones on the aggression for the most part in the game. That's what tends to happen. The Rubik and the Bounty Hunter, I would say, underwhelming.
Yeah.
The duo in combination it's very difficult to play because you lack a lot of damage.